council meeting.
You know?
And I am going to ask Josephine, as soon as she gets herself situated, to call the roll.
Mr. Vilke.
Here.
Mr. Engel.
Here.
Ms. Hannikin.
Here.
Mr. Molnar.
Here.
Ms. Tully. Here.
Okay. This time I'm going to ask that our chaplain, Tom O'Brien, please stand and give us the prayer and then pledge allegiance.
With bowed heads, let us pray. Almighty God, Father of all mankind and Judge over nations, we pray thee guide our work in this city council meeting this evening. We pray for those who serve the people and guard the public welfare, those civil servants who work at City Hall and throughout our community, that by thy blessing they may be enabled to discharge their duties honestly and well. We pray for our leaders, that by thy help they may provide the leadership our community has empowered with them. Finally, O God of mercy, we ask thy blessing and comfort for our neighbors who are suffering from mental and physical disability. Cheer them and bring them thy blessing of health and happiness. Amen. And now, please face the flag and join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaplain. Another fine job you've done. Okay, the next item on the agenda would be the approval of our minutes of April 27th, 2017.
So made.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we also have then the financial report, acknowledging receipt of the financial report dated April 30th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, the motion's carried. I kind of want to take a couple things out of order here, and first off, we are going to be swearing in one of our newest officers, and Officer Sean Hathaway will be bringing up Apollo, and at this time, we're going to swear Apollo in. Apollo, you step forward. You got to remember, Apollo is a police officer, an officer of the law. So he has to be sworn in.
Yeah, he likes people too.
He's a mobster. Okay, Apollo. Sit down. Sit. Okay.
Oh, that's a good boy.
This is a working dog oath. State of Ohio, City of Macedonia. I will lay down my life for you and expect nothing but love in return. I protect my officer with my life, and I would gladly take a bullet in his place. I am sent in to find lost children and fugitives on the run. I find drugs and weapons and even bombs. I am the first sent in, and sometimes the last to leave. I am the nose and ears of my officer. I will protect and serve him. I would die for him and for you. I only ask for compassion and a kind word. Say, I do.
Pin a badge on him.
This.
Okay. He gets a. Okay. Try to get anything on that dog, you'll be sorry.
Chief said it would turn black.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I love it.
There we go.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Give me your phone.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Sean, I think he has to introduce his family if he has.
that's right.
His family's not here,
That's
but
This is Canine Harlow's brother. I got him from the same breeder where Canine Harlow came from. I got him as a pet. Went out to training one day with one dog, and I came home with two. And just being around Harlow and coming to training with him here and there, Apollo's just a really good dog. Very intelligent, very high drive, and the Canine Association that I train with, we did some evaluations on Apollo, and he's very well fit from a social standpoint, from a drive standpoint, to be a good working dog. And thankfully, I was able to talk to the chief, lieutenant, and the mayor and get it approved. So Apollo will now be our newest explosives dog and patrol dog. So we'll have Haro for drugs and narcotics and Apollo for explosives. So, excellent.
Take care. Do you want to make a motion that we accept Apollo as our newest officer in the city of Macedonia?
Make a motion confirming the mayor's appointment of Canine Apollo as an officer within the City of Macedonia Police Department.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion's carried. Apollo,
Congratulations.
we're looking forward to all your hard work.
Thank
you. Take care. We have one more item that I want to take out of order in the agenda, and that is the appointment of Edward D. Manley to our, as a full-time, Manny, I'm sorry, to our full-time fire department paramedic. And at this time, I would entertain a motion on that.
Well, I'll read the ordinance. Mr. Mayor, Council, I move that we pass ordinance, oh, I guess I gotta make the.
You got a motion to adopt?
Okay, ordinance 39 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Edward D. Manny to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic in the city of Macedonia.
Okay, you've heard the reading?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we pass and post ordinance number 39, 2017, to post the same as law.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second, and I see that Edward's here with his family, and I'm going to ask you to stand up, Edward, and introduce your family to all of us.
All right, this is my family here. This is Madeline, my fiance, soon-to-be wife, my son Jacob, and my twin sister Eva.
You.
They've been my backbone, my support for all this time of school and testing and fire academy and all that good stuff. So,
Great, fantastic. Are you guys excited?
Oh, yeah.
Chief, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, Ed's number 5 on our list. He's replacing a firefighter that went to greener pastures. So Ed has blown through all of our testing, as usual. It's what we like to see, and he's always smiling. This kid comes in, and he's got a thirst for the job, which we really, really enjoy. He's happy to be here. In fact, he's tracked me down every day, shook my hand, and said thank you. So I tried to hide a couple times, but he found me. So he loves the job, and we like to see that. He has a real thirst for it. So we welcome him aboard. He's actually going on shift Monday.
Okay, great. Do we have a motion to adopt?
We do. I already read it. You just have to
Right.
vote on it.
Oh, did we? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a little behind, maybe. I'm a little... Okay, we have a motion. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. The motion's carried, and we welcome you aboard, Edward. And you'll probably have to get sworn in. I don't think I have everything here.
I
for you.
I didn't have anything for you.
Okay.
You're going to hold him down and make him put his
You guys
hand
said
in.
Yeah, I know. You got to put both feet on the pad over here. Okay, so we'll now get back to our regular agenda here, and it would be public comments at this time, and the first person on here is Vinnie Ventura. Just ask that you step up to the podium, give us your name, your address.
Good evening. Most of you have met me one time or another or seen me speak before. I am Vinnie Ventura. I live at 1479 Bruce. I'm going to attempt to slow down as I speak this evening because it was asked of me by a resident last month. This was a request. I would like to congratulate the mayor and those council members on a successful education program that helped get Issue 3 passed. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank the committee members that I got to know and work with on Issue 3. Some of them are in the room tonight. What a team. They just went out and busted their hump to get this done. I'm telling you, it was a great opportunity for me to get to know some people and a hardworking group of residents. I thank you very much for that opportunity. With that said, because of the hard work and support from these residents, I am here to let you know that Vincent J. Ventura Sr. will be on the ballot for council in the November election. I will work hard with integrity to garner the support of the residents of Macedonia. I will take the high road and not draw first blood. My agenda will be how I can help the city of Macedonia move forward. I will not worry about what others have done or not done, and that's how I will plan to work with your support. I will work as a legislator and a public servant, not as a politician. I thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see many of you on the road. Thank you.
Okay. Next person, public speaking person would be, if I say this right, Marvin Cross. Marvin, how are you? Good.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marvin Cross. I stay at 9005 Chinaberry Circle North. I'm a retired Cleveland police officer, and I wanted to say I'm glad that we got the tax passed. I work with Mr. Bilke. We talked a lot about getting this done. The one question I had, and I had to ask him about it, was the roads that I see. We got a lot of bad roads, and we have the money right now. My question came to, do we ever hold any of the builders responsible for some of the roads? In Thousand Oaks, our roads were perfect until all them trucks drove. So I don't know who. I mean, it's coming out of our pockets. We got to pay for it. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong or indifferent. I'm just asking the question: should we kind of get something back? They're making all the profits off of it.
You're talking about the trucks that are doing
the construction.
Construction,
yeah,
on other homes.
On other homes,
on other homes,
we got the 3 assisted living places. You know, I mean, them big trucks make a difference in the road. So I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifference. I'm just asking the question, something that maybe we should look at.
Well, unfortunately, you know, we have state routes, like Valley View is a state route.
Right.
And therefore, they have the ability to go up and down there, even though we have no trucks through on Valley View. So local access only, currently. Highland Road is a county road. They certainly have access both east and west on that. There are weight limitations on all the trucks. You certainly could take them and weigh them in. If they violate the law, then we could certainly cite them for that. Typically in subdivisions, however, if you live in Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks, yes.
You know, what we've encouraged developers to do in the past is to not pave the last layer of asphalt until it's substantially 3/4 done, and then they lay the last course of asphalt, then you wind up with a fresh road. Unfortunately, we're talking Thousand Oaks has probably been around for a long time now. I mean, I can remember, I was mayor back then when we passed it, you know, when the Planning Commission approved it. So, you know, we're talking that many years later. Your roads are probably at the point of exhaustion. They're probably
they beat up a little bit.
Yeah, they're reaching the point where eventually soon we'll wind up having to mill and fill and repave those roads as well. That's why, thank God, that Issue 3 passed, because now we have funds, obviously, to start a road program and keep up on top of those roads.
Okay.
So,
hey, that's my only question.
Yeah.
That we're gonna
Well, we also are looking for other revenue streams, and I'll be talking about TIFs tonight. So I know his wife's not. He doesn't have any money. His wife has money. Let's get that straight. He's a stay-at-home dad.
That's right.
I think it's important to note too, though, with the roads that the mayor referenced, like Valley View and Highland, those roads are engineered to be able to handle those trucks. So it's not going to necessarily deteriorate that road because they're rated for that, and I'm sure our engineer would echo.
I'll talk about mostly subdivisions.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I should specify.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a legitimate issue that you have. So when you see that most of the newer subdivisions, while I was here back in the day, we would hold them off from putting that last layer on, just so that you would get a fresh street after it was about 3/4 or half done.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
One more.
You got one more on the list, and if I say this right, Kate
Oles.
Oles. Okay. Hi, Kate.
My name is Kate Oles, and I'm here today representing a group of individuals from Northeast Ohio who are seeking a Level 1 cultivator and processing license, which would allow us to cultivate up to 25,000 square feet and then also process all plant material that we cultivate. We're currently looking at multiple properties in Summit County, a few of which happen to be in Macedonia near the North Freeway Drive area. Well, I'm happy to see City Council addressing this issue and taking necessary steps to allow this opportunity for economic development in this community. I also know that limiting the opportunities to cultivators only and not allowing processors is a roadblock for Ohio's future medical marijuana patients. Because smoking is not allowed in the state, processing is what makes medical marijuana accessible and usable to patients that need it. By receiving licenses for both cultivation and processing, we'll be able to assure our products are high quality, tested, and packaged in a way that's clean, professional, and educational for future patients. As cultivators, we don't want to rely on others to create an end product that we don't know what processes have been used for and any other contaminants that may have come into contact when being transported from facility to facility. Our goal is to do research and medically informed product development to identify and focus the compounds which will specifically address the needs of any patient with one of the 21 accepted medical conditions by the state. Most cultivators who are applying for a processing license will house both businesses in the same building, which will only add to tax revenue and jobs generated in the city. Other cities which have created regulations for future medical marijuana businesses have required applicants to submit both odor and noise control plans to assure that the surrounding businesses are not negatively impacted by this new industry. While I'm grateful this discussion is being had, I implore you to reconsider the ban on processing facilities for the benefit of both the community and patients that need it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on, we have pending and or new legislation. First item on the agenda is ordinance number 36, 2017.
Should I make the amendment first?
No, why don't you give it the second, third reading, and then you can make the amendment.
I offer ordinance 36, 2017 for its second and third reading by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Nick, are you going to make the amendments?
He
we
is,
just talked
Mr.
about.
Bilkey. I
Yeah,
have to
sorry,
read it,
Chris.
and then it has
Yeah,
to.
yes.
Creating Chapter 795 of the City of Macedonia's codified ordinances relative to enacting regulations for medical marijuana cultivators and prohibiting dispensaries and processing centers.
Okay. You've heard the reading. What is your pleasure?
I'd like to make an amendment to the ordinance. In the second whereas, I would like to strike but prohibiting dispensaries and processing centers.
Second.
Hold on, not done yet.
It's all right.
Additionally, I would like to strike 795.99, the penalty section, the entire paragraph held there within.
27. 27. Not 29.
Oh, I'm sorry, I circled the wrong one.
9.
All right, 795.27, sorry. Penalty will remain.
Second.
Okay, we have,
Also,
There was one more.
Also,
One
I would
more.
include the title.
There was one more, too.
Right, and that's also in the, you guys
17.
got to give me a second, please. And also, and prohibiting dispensaries and processing centers in the title paragraph.
Did we miss
Yeah,
anything?
there was one other one, on,
No, I hit that
It's-
already. I said that in the
it's
second
not-
whereas.
And any other references
Will.
to a prohibition
the
on
change from may to
processing
will on 790.
Oh, I'm sorry, I marked the page and I forgot about it. All right, you guys got me. And then under 795.13, application review procedure under A, in the second sentence, take out the word may after authority and make it will. Schedule a public hearing upon the application to be held. So essentially, for those of you listening, it was saying we may have a public meeting. Now we will have a public meeting regarding anything with this.
So you want to see what the other amendments are, too? Do you want to elaborate on the other amendments?
Sure. To what Ms. Oles was referring to, we're taking that out right now they can cultivate with what we have. The state has put through a bunch of laws for this already, so it's already something that's legal for medicinal marijuana. They haven't quite got to the dispensaries and processing center regulations yet, so it's somewhat of a moot point, but we wanted to wait and see what the state does with that before we start to regulate and put more teeth into it for us in Macedonia. So that's why we're taking that out at this time.
You ready for a second?
Yes, sir.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bilkey?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar?
One last thing I forgot to add, there's significant tax dollars that come along with this too. The city of Twinsburg has just opened their arms up for this completely, and that's part of the reason why we want to be able to be open to it as well for those tax dollars. So a lot of communities are vying for that, so my vote's yes.
And Ms. Tully?
Yes.
Okay.
Passes.
Motion carries.
That was the amendment.
I'm
Now
sorry,
we
the
have
motion
amendment.
to amend, I'm sorry. Motion to adopt.
Make a motion to pass and post according to law ordinance 36, 2017.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second? Could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bilkey?
Nick kind of stole my thunder. This is a great way to get more revenue in our city, so yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar?
Yes.
Ms. Tully?
Yes.
Okay, the motion's carried. I just want to make it clear to everyone that the restrictions by the state of Ohio are very stringent, and we made them even more stringent here in the city. The building has to be totally enclosed. It doesn't have any windows. It's got to be totally fenced in. It's got to have 24-hour security. It's got to have cameras all the way around it. And the sites to which we have identified in the city are something that is far removed from any residential area and would be visible from our I-271. And yes, there is a lot of revenue that will be generated or can be generated from these facilities, both if they're a cultivating and process center. Many communities throughout Northeast Ohio have already passed legislation. The city has been approached by 3 different companies that are looking to place a location here in the city. If we're lucky enough to get the site here in the city, again, as I said, it will be far removed from it'll be in a general industrial area. It'll have high security, and there's a requirement of them even hiring a Macedonia police officer to be on premise. So we will make sure that it is a secure location, and we'll make sure that obviously there's obviously major concerns about this is something new in the state of Ohio. But I want to say this only because I had a father-in-law that passed away about 1.5 years ago, and my father-in-law wouldn't take morphine. He wouldn't take anything for the pain. He had cancer, and he was going through excruciating pain, and he was given the stem cell oils from the cannabis, and it took away his pain. Otherwise, he would have been in excruciating pain day in and day out. So it really allowed him to get through the process, and he ultimately died, unfortunately, but it eased his pain. So I witnessed it firsthand and know that it does work. I'm not a promoter of going around smoking marijuana as such, but I think that there is a medical purpose for it, and I so support that medical purpose because I saw it firsthand. So I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you. Next item is ordinance number 37.
Is that me? Okay. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 37, 2017 for its second and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried.
Declaring improvements to certain parcels of real property to be a public purpose, describing the public improvements to be made to directly benefit such parcel, requiring the owner of the improvements on such parcel to make the service payments in lieu of taxes, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payments and related authorizations pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code Sections 570940, 570942, and 570943.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to amend Ordinance 37, 2017 to include Valley View Road from 82 south to the city line with Hudson.
Okay. We have a motion
Second.
and a second on the amendment. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Do we have a motion to adopt?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we pass and post ordinance number 37, 2017, as amended according to law.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second? Are there any questions? Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bilkey?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar.
Yes.
Ms. Tully?
Yes.
Okay, the motion's carried. And I just need to elaborate a little bit just for the general public here. What these are tax increment finance districts which we can place over properties. And what that means to the city of Macedonia is that, for instance, right across the street here is the Avenue of Macedonia, which is a new skilled nursing facility that's just being built. It has not hit the tax duplicate yet. It's going to generate approximately $62,000 a year in revenue, which 10% of that would have came to the city of Macedonia, which would have been about $6,000, I think, if I'm correct on that.
Yeah, it's less than
The
that.
balance of that would have gone to both the county and other agencies. By putting this TIF over that property, we will be collecting this 20% of the county's portion of real estate tax dollars that would have come in. We will then take those dollars, it will be put into a separate fund for any and all improvements in and around that site. For instance, Park Avenue, repaving, Route 82, Valley View Road, and any other acquisitions or anything else that we need to do to provide enhancement in and around that site. It doesn't cost the taxpayers anything. We, the city of Macedonia, benefit because now we're picking up the portion of dollars from the county and other agencies that would have received that other 20%. As you know, the school district gets 70% of all the tax dollars, and we're allowing them to remain whole. We're not taking any of their money out of that project. This is a very well. This is probably one of the strongest projects that we have in the city right now because it's creating 100 new jobs, 100 beds. It's going to have a rehabilitation center on it, and it's going to generate a lot of dollars from that standpoint. And it's our first skilled nursing facility in the city of Macedonia. So I wanted to share that with you. We are going to have a number of other TIFs that are going to come about, and when we do, we're going to be passing the same type of legislation, and we'll have the same sort of revenue stream coming from them. This was a very creative way of doing things, and if we continue to do it, we'll be setting those monies aside, and we'll continue to pick up that extra 20% that we would have otherwise not picked up. So it's pretty clear and simple. Thank you. The next item is ordinance number 39.
It would be
I'm
40.
sorry.
We already did that, yeah?
Oh, yep, we did that. This would be then 40.
Mayor, I offer Resolution 40, 2017 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
A resolution authorizing the city engineer to prepare plans, bids, and specifications, and further authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids to enter into contract for various roadway improvement projects.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Mayor, I make a motion to amend the title paragraph to strike "to enter into contracts."
Second.
Okay, we
We
have a
also
mo-
need to amend the bill itself.
okay. We have
And the ordinance itself.
We have a motion and a second to amend. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Who was the second on that?
I think Jan was.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I saw her hand, thank you.
Okay. Motion to adopt.
I move that we pass and post according to law Resolution 40, 2017.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bilkey?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar.
I'd be remiss if I skipped over this one quickly, but I'm going to take my time and talk about this a little bit. Issue 3 passed. Basically what this does is this puts us in a position to go out for bonds to begin to pave roads this year. We're going to do what we said we were going to do, and this is the first step to making that happen. So thanks to all the people that helped with that. Thanks to the committees. There's so many people's names, I don't know if I'm going to say them, but I want to thank all those that helped. It was a long, hard-fought battle, and here we go. We're going to get this town back. So, yes.
Ms. Tully?
Yes.
Okay. Just a short explanation is in order. Again, I want to commend the residents of Macedonia for certainly understanding the issues this time and passing this. This was very critical. The city, without these funds, would not be able to move forward to do much of anything. We were paralyzed. And I'm glad that they saw through all of the rhetoric that's been out there and saw that the truth of the matter is that we really needed it. We have broken this project down into basically 3 groups. Now, you have to realize that we're late into the year. We're going to go out for bid specifications. We're doing bid specifications. We're going to go out for bids. But that process takes, 30, 45, 60 days sometimes. So by the time here we are in May, we're going to be push ourselves probably into June or July. So what we did is we took a smaller chunk of the worst roads to attack immediately. And I could read those roads to you. But we're going to do those immediately because those are the worst of the worst roads in our town. We graded them. They have been graded for years, for the last couple of years at least. And we're going to attack those roads first. You have to remember, because we have a short season, we don't have a long season where the asphalt plants stay open beyond October, sometimes a little bit into November, depending on how the weather is. So we know that just this grouping right here would give any one contractor probably until the end of the season to complete. So while we're going to ask perhaps for a total bid, which we are, we're going to only allow it to be used for a single bid on the first grouping. What I mean by that is that we will then probably likely go out again right after the first of the year on groups 2 and 3 because our prices will be better. Contractors are hungrier in the middle of the winter, and they're trying to figure out what projects they're going to get for the spring. So we'll get perhaps better prices. And by the way, nobody's going to be willing to give us a contracted price today, not knowing where oil and asphalt may be next year. So that's the reason for the process. But I'm going to read to you the streets that we are going to immediately, and we have 40 streets, by the way, in our city. Skyland Drive is probably one of the worst streets in our city. Then we have Laurel between Chamberlain and Shepherd. We got Sioux Lane, Waters Drive, Summer Road, Barkdale between Newport and Bonnie. We got South Skyland Drive, Roseland Drive, and then we have Macedonia Commons. Macedonia Commons is in really bad shape. So one of the issues, too, is a safety issue. When you start getting into these streets and you want to get them paved, you got to get them paved because people bottom their car out. You don't know how many calls this administration has been getting where people have damaged rims and their cars and are asking for compensation. And we can't continue to have that. We got to fix as much as we possibly can. We are going to be putting together a crew this year that is going to do nothing more than get out there and try to just patch as many roads as we possibly can on our own. Those roads that are not being done, so we can Band-Aid them to next year until we get to the worst of the worst roads. So,
I would have one comment about Macedonia Commons. Like the cut-in and like Highland Road, I believe we should do an assessment for the businesses there because that's primarily the access point into the commons. So that's been an area where we've discussed that before, a couple years ago, and I think we should do that because we want to have as much money as possible for the rest of these roads. That's my comment.
Next item on the agenda is 41.
Is that me again? Okay. Okay, this is number 41. This is, I move we, I'm offering ordinance number 41, 2017 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
A motion is second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into contract with Humana Insurance Company for the vision care benefits for eligible Macedonia employees.
I should make the comment that this vision, we are changing vision care companies for the employees because they were not satisfied with the range of options for the doctors that were on the previous plan passed in December. So I move that we pass and post ordinance number 41, 2017 according to law.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried. Next item would be then number 42.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 42 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried.
Declaring improvements to certain parcel of real property to be a public purpose, describing the public improvements to be made to directly benefit such parcel, requiring the owner of the improvements on such parcel to make service payments in lieu of taxes, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payments and related authorization pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code Sections 570940, 570942, and 570943.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 42, 2017, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. And again, this is very similar to the last TIF we just passed. So we're doing the very same thing over every piece of property we can find that has not been on the tax duplicate yet. Okay, the next one is ordinance number 43.
It'll sound like deja vu, but I'd like to offer that we read ordinance number 43 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
Declaring improvements to certain parcel of real property to be a public purpose, describing the public improvements to be made to directly benefit such parcel, requiring the owner of the improvements on such parcel to make service payments in lieu of taxes, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payment and related authorizations pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code Sections 570940, 570942, and 570943.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 43, 2017, please.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions?
Can you just real quickly talk about which properties, 42 and 43?
Yes. Let me go to 42. Aspen Dental and Starbucks is going to be on Waters, which is next to the Winking Lizard. It's going in right now. You can see it's under construction. So that's where this TIF is going on 42. And then 43 is Dr. McGuire, who is building a building over on Alexandria Square. And his building is up, and they're actually just doing the brickwork right now. And he's going to be moving his practice in there. And those are the two projects that we have right now. And we look forward to a few more that we're working on. So, okay, any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. Correspondence, are there any correspondence?
I have
Josephine?
none.
None, okay. Mayor's report, the only thing I would like, there are a few things I'd like to say, obviously. Mayor's Court revenue for this past month was $42,685. That was for April. And I also would just again want to reiterate how strongly and happy I am about the fact that the residents of our community recognize the need for the issue 3. This city was in a paralyzed situation. It was a crisis, a true crisis, and we were certainly, there was not enough dollars in the coffers to maintain the city. It's bottom line. We would have certainly ran out of the money for the rec facility. We probably would have had to close the rec facility in 18 months. That was not anything that we're not telling the truth about. I mean, that was a fact. That was something that would have had to be done. And I know that a lot of people, or some people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, I know some people think that the rec facilities in most communities should be running at a positive, but just about every community out throughout Northeast Ohio that I know of is running, subsidized, I should say, by the general fund of that community. I mean, Hudson, not Hudson, but Solon, Twinsburg, they're all subsidized to a greater tune than what we are. We have 5,500 members in there right now, and hopefully after we start getting some of the improvements that we are now able to do inside, like new locker rooms, redoing the bathrooms. The bathrooms are in just terrible condition over there, so we're going to just get in there and we're going to rip them out and we're going to fix them and we're going to get them upright. So that's something that I've already started to have discussions with Angela, and we're going to just get in there and get that done, and maybe some reconfiguration if we can to help it expand a little bit if we can. We're confined to the expansion of it. Obviously, if phase 2 or 3 ever comes about at the rec center, there would be another set of bathrooms in that facility. And again, the streets that we're going to be paving, we're going to be working on those as quickly as possible, hoping to get all those done like ASAP. We have a lot of crossover pipes. We have a lot of curbing and other things that need to be done. The service department is in overload because we only have 15 guys. And when you start narrowing it down, when you take out, again, those guys that are working the sign shop, the electrician, those that are working in the park, it narrows it down to a very, very small number of guys that can get out and do the work. So this year I'm looking to hire some more part-timers so that we can get more of a crew out there to do, perhaps just do an asphalt crew that just goes out and just does nothing more than patching. And that's something that we need to do. It's we've got probably more patching than you can imagine throughout this city, but we'll try to get to it. And I think the service department's been doing an excellent job. We just had the groundbreaking ceremony for the Veterans Memorial. It was very well attended. We are in the process right now of putting in the footers for the monument itself and the flagpoles, and we're going to get the plaza set in place. I think it's really starting to take shape. I have to commend both the VFW and Post 801 for all of the involvement that they've had in spearheading this. And I see Bart out there. Bart's one of the guys that's been involved and been on the committee and pushing forward to making that happen. It was well attended. They've raised a lot of money, and I expect that they're going to raise a lot more money, and there's going to be pavers available and for people that want to buy a paver and put the name on it. And I've had people call me already and say they want to buy a bench for their father who served in World War II or whatever the case was. So, you know, there's a lot of interest there. I think it's going to be a beautiful site, and as I said at the ceremony, this property was given to the city of Macedonia by Colonel Peck, which was early 1900s, and obviously he was a soldier, and I believe it was the Army. And we obviously looked for his heirs in the past and weren't able to find them when we relocated South Bedford to where it's at today. But I think that this is in keeping with what he anticipated by us doing what we're doing and creating a memorial, a Veterans Memorial at that location. It's going to be beautiful. I mean, I'm not saying just because I've been involved. I'm just kind of the guy that's pushing along, but everybody else that's really doing it it needs to be commended. And there's a lot of people that are involved in doing that. So, and I appreciate that. Really can't think of anything else. We are working on Just one last thing, we're working on the local access drive to the crossings. That is an access point that will be on Route 8. We are getting a lot of concurrence now from the major property owners over there. It's a 100% assessed project. I say it again, 100% assessed project. Doesn't cost the city of Macedonia anything. Property owners like Giant Eagle and Lowe's and Great Escape and Panera's and all of them will be assessed a proportionate share to put this access point in. Now, interestingly, I had a meeting today with one of the trustees, and we've had a number of situations that have occurred right there in front of the crossings where there was no access. The access got cut off. People couldn't get out. So this is a safety issue by getting this road in there. Not only a safety issue from the standpoint of getting ingress and egress, but it also is a relief to Route 8 and 82. So once we get this road in, people will be able to exit out of there and get right onto Route 8 heading in a westerly, or I should say in a southerly direction. They may go into the commons at that point. They may get on the freeway. We don't know which way they may go, but at least they'll have a point of exit. And if they pass it as they go down Route 8, they can certainly see we're going to have a sign erected there, and they'll be able to see the sign and pull in that way and go to Lowe's or go to Great Escape. And then there's 2 out parcels that we're going to be putting this road through between the 2 parcels. So there are already 2 possible prospects that are going to go onto those 2 parcels. So it's also going to spark some economic development that will be created over there additionally to, and that's not within the JED, that's outside of the JED, that's totally within the city of Macedonia proper. So I share that with you. Okay.
I do have a question about Alexandria shopping area there. That Sears area has been, the Sears appliance store has been vacant for a very long time. Is there any prospect of another lessee coming in there?
Yeah, I just talked to the property owner Thursday, I think it was, or I shouldn't say Thursday, Tuesday. And they have a tenant on the hook, and I'm not happy, and it's not confirmed who it is, but
Okay.
I mean, I know who it is, but I certainly at this point don't want to just make it public because they are in the process of negotiating the lease. But I've expressed my concern that I'd much rather have a retailer in there. But as a city, we don't dictate what goes into a property.
Right.
We have no ability to tell them,
Right.
you can't put this type of tenant here. You can't put another fast food over here. It just doesn't work. If it's the zoning, if it meets zoning, which it does, they can put any tenant they want on that property. I've expressed to them that I'd rather see a retailer, and this is not a retailer, but it is somebody that will occupy the building. So it may help the center. It's revenue to them, I'm sure, and that's what they're looking at on their side of it.
Sure. What about the Huntington Bank building that's been?
The Huntington Bank building, I have reached out to actually a couple different banks, telling them that they need to come to our city and locate there. So I have been working to, it's a beautiful building, by the way.
Yes, it is.
And
it's clearly a bank building. It's pretty hard for it to be anything else, actually.
Well,
So-
it could be converted, I hate to say it, to fast food, because it's got drive-throughs.
Yeah,
I hate to
but
say it, but it could be.
yeah, it could be, but
It
you know,
doesn't look.
I'd like to see it as a bank building personally.
I
But,
would too. I think it looks better.
So that's who I've been reaching out to. I've been reaching out to other banks because obviously the vault's in there and everything else, and I think it best fits that type of use. If it weren't for the fact that the Huntington didn't own that building, they would have obviously opted to stay in that building. But they didn't own it. They leased it. So that's the reason they moved down the street to First National Bank building.
Yeah,
Or
the
First Merit, rather. I'm
First
sorry.
Merit owned that,
Yeah.
that facility
Right.
that they were.
And
yeah.
Will
they've
they-
done a complete renovation at that facility.
Yeah, is the developer then going to, if this property finally gets released, will they then fix the driveway, the parking lot? Everything has been kind of left other than when we made the complaints, and I think John made the phone call, and right away they were out patching some holes. They finally came out.
Chris Hall was on that, zoning inspector, contacting the property owner
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
to get
But
things
when they,
over there.
you know,
There's an association there that all of the property owners are to contribute into. It's probably not as tight as it should be, and unfortunately, Siebert, who obviously made a lot of promises to the city, didn't keep a lot of his promises, unfortunately. And the contract, an agreement we had with him, he's never lived up to. And unfortunately, there was supposed to be a traffic light at Alexandria, the main drive.
Never did that.
When I was mayor, I made sure that he put up a $25,000 bond on that, and it's been let go, so we don't have that bond any longer. He knew that he needed to put that traffic light in, and it was per agreement that once he got like to, I think, Tractor Supply, he needed to put that traffic light up. So I'm very disappointed that we didn't hold his feet to the fire in the past. And so he was able to get away with it. In fact, he has now transferred all of his property out of his name into some other name, which there's only 2 parcels left. I threatened lastly that, or the last project, which was Dr. McGuire's, that I wasn't going to give him approval because I wanted to see them come back and do what they promised to do. Unfortunately, I was then holding Dr. McGuire hostage, who would have been a new tenant to our city, or he is a tenant of our city currently, and I didn't want to do that. It was a double-edged sword for me as well because he is a tenant of mine, and he's leaving me.
So we can anticipate that it's likely that there will be an occupation of that Sears building that's been vacant.
Yes, I'm told that it's probably very close to executing a lease and that they will be occupying. There's not a whole lot of work that they have to do in there.
A number of residents have said to me that they were very unhappy with that being left vacant that long, so that's good news.
The previous mayor had also
happy
had
that it's
discussions.
What?
This has been ongoing. This isn't just new. Previous mayor had discussions with several retailers, and I would nudge him and he'd make the calls, but they were not interested.
Right.
So he had numerous discussions. It's not just something that happened. I do want to say thank you, though, to the dry cleaner. They put rose bushes in, and they were blooming right before it started snowing, and I go, developer put these in? He goes, no, I did. So they're trying.
Yeah.
So you talking to the Sears people on Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Oh.
Did I say
You
Tuesday?
said Thursday and Tuesday and Tuesday.
No, Tuesday. It was Tuesday of this past week, yeah. Okay. All right, with that, I will move on and, let's see here.
Committees.
Committee reports.
I have kind of echo a lot what you just said about the Parks and Recs. We had a meeting on the 3rd. We're very happy that issue 3 passed. It frees up some of the money that we currently have in savings. Some of the projects that we put on hold, such as diamond breading the pools, is basically draining the water, putting a new surface, and so that will last for another 10 years. And I made the suggestion, which was echoed by John and Angela, like maybe we should go out and get bids to redo the bathrooms when it's going to be closed for 14 days. I think that is longer than a 14-day project, but still, if we want to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so that's what we kind of are recommending, that if we're going to do the bathrooms, maybe do it at the same time that we're resurfacing the pools. So it's just a very uplifting meeting for once, and we'll meet again next month, later this month, to talk about the Wizard of Oz, actually.
Great. Any other committee reports?
Well, can I add one more thing to the rec center? The festival's coming up. There is a 5K run that Friday at 7 o'clock. If you've never run when it's getting dusk, it's for some reason the miles go faster. I don't know why. There also afterwards is a kids fun run, and probably the incentive for the benefits the Greater Humane Society of Greater Akron, so that there is every year the designation from the run goes to a particular charity, and probably for everyone over 21 that does the run, you get a free beer. So, but But I would encourage folks to do it. It's fun. One beer rehydrates you. Two's not good, so take that one.
Are the cannabis people going to be there?
Who?
No.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, that is the dates of the Spirit of Macedonia Fun Fest is June 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And because I'm the car guy, I will tell you that I believe the car show is scheduled for the evening of the 8th on Thursday.
I think he kind of misstated something there. I think it's called Fun Fest,
Yeah.
the Spirit of Macedonia.
No, it changed, sorry.
Moving along.
And the run is on Friday, the 9th, at 7 at the park. So we're not going to be, sorry, Jessica, we're not going to be running by your house anymore, sorry. The other one I have also is the budget meeting. We need to schedule a budget meeting. We said we would do a 6-month review. Now that the levy has passed, we have other discussions to talk about. The money's not in hand, as much as people think. The money's not in our hand yet, but we have the light at the tunnel to be able to look forward. So I would ask council to look at their calendars and let me know if Tuesday, June 13th or Thursday, June 15th, not a council meeting week. If you're available, send me an email. We'll try to get the majority. Rhonda will obviously need you at that meeting as well as the mayor. That way we can do the 6-month review and also talk about the future.
I cannot make it.
Neither one?
No, I'm on vacation that week.
Well, send me your available dates.
Okay, everyone but that week.
You're gone the whole summer?
I think everything but that one, leaving on the 9th and coming back the 20th.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Any unfinished business? Any new business?
Oh, real quick, I forgot to say that.
We got to go to unfinished business.
Real
Hang
quick,
on, Mike. I'll give you 1 second. Hang on.
I almost
We
forgot
normally
to
don't
say,
take
the
it.
joint cemetery meeting, for those of you who are dying to come to that, that's the meeting where all the legislators for the communities get together because it's owned and funded by all of us. That joint meeting is not, will be held at our next council meeting, and it's prior to the council meeting. Doesn't last very long, but if you're interested, please come. You know, we've had a lot of discussions of capital projects that are needed at the cemetery, from a roof to a heater to the fence to how do we make the older section, how do we take care of this to make it the jewel of our community. So you're more than welcome to come to that meeting. Thank you, sorry.
Okay. Any new business?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut my phone.
Mike wanted to say
Sorry.
something.
I apologize.
You don't
No,
have
go ahead,
anything, Mike? Mike?
No, Mike, go ahead.
They're not.
Yeah, it's just a June.
This tax that we passed, is this all for roads or just for the rec center?
No, it's for roads. There's a dedicated amount of money each year. I think it's 1.2
almost
million
1.2.
that goes towards roads every year. Every year.
It's roads, stormwater, and rec center. There are 3 things that were put in there, so there's so much for roads, so much for stormwater, and so much for rec center, with the majority for the roads.
Majority
And Rhonda can give you the percentages.
73%, was it? Something like that?
I'm pretty sure it was 78% is general.
I didn't hear nothing about North Bedford Road.
That's in group, is North Bedford in group 2? North Bedford.
So the nicest ones in Macedonia.
Yeah, North Bedford, Group 2.
Group 2. Yeah, that'll be in 2018, Mike.
We're only doing the south side, Mike, not the north.
Yeah.
We're not doing the north side, just the south side.
Take them up.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried. Hey, Mike, you remember who took care of that paving on your road? Remember when they cut that water line? Who fixed that road?
These were good ones. Yeah, I gotta get out there sometimes.
Yeah.